Well, they just
And I'll
redid.
tell you what can get worse. Okay?
Yeah, I don't need to know that. It's not my place. That's up to you guys. I know.
It's okay, it's
So
okay.
you corrected me.
You're human.
We do want to,
You're human.
Yeah.
stick around for a minute after the meeting though, okay?
Why would I do
You didn't do
No,
anything, but,
no,
that? I did. If we get that far,
yeah,
I prepared a draft.
I saw.
Yes.
I didn't read it yet, but.
couldn't download it, by the way.
Oh, really?
Couldn't get it. There's no way I could get it, but we have it here. So we're fine.
Kristen didn't say she wasn't coming, she usually comes. Yeah, I might need that. For you. You didn't do anything. No, you didn't do it. It's not you. It's not me, it's you. No, it's like,
Don't tell me it's not me, it's you. That's my line.
it's you. It's you. It's not me. Well, I guess we're all here, so I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the April 18th Planning Board meeting. We'll start with new business, which is just a continuation of business. It's Pedro Huerta, 181 Hudson Street. The applicant seeking to add 2 gazebos located in front of the restaurant, one for each existing approved patio space. It looks like we have a couple members of the public. Go ahead.
Before we begin, I have
Sure.
a question for Mr. Carmona.
Okay.
Do you want to open the
Well,
public
I
hearing?
was
and-
gonna ask him about the lights.
I have something
Give it
totally
different-
little
okay.
different.
Okay, well, if you'd like to ask him a question, go ahead.
He wants us to open the meeting. We did.
Well, the meeting's open, but
The
he's
meeting's
asking about the
open.
public hearing.
If it's about the application, I think we should open the public hearing.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
Do we, in our little village today, the biggest buzz is the food truck in a driveway. Do we have any rules in our code for having a food truck? Or anybody can park a truck anywhere they want?
We do have rules on commercial vehicles, that is considered to be a commercial vehicle. So we do have rules for commercial vehicle being parked in residential district.
No permitting required?
It's not permitted.
It is not permitted.
So,
Parking.
so, I mean, I want every business to be successful, but are you dealing with it?
I'm dealing with that, and I mean, they definitely should not be operating out of there, for sure. A permit is required from the village clerk in order to sell food out of a food truck. An inspection is required by the building department in order for them to operate a food truck. And then, they have to be some kind of a special event or some kind of permission from the village for them to operate at a certain location, but definitely will not be out of the residence.
Okay, so,
if you know of any,
so was today's truck legal or not legal?
Because I'd rather just get these people.
There was a truck today.
oh, that one I did not know about. Where,
So Viz,
In,
let's
Mar-
talk about
in-
this after the meeting, because the public doesn't need to sit through this if, I get, but they're here for a public hearing on Mr. Huerta's, and this isn't, I know that it was parked in his driveway, but I don't think that that's,
I agree. Go ahead.
so if we could just go
We'll
ahead and do
we'll
this,
talk later.
and we'll bring that back up, because.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing.
You can make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
I
A
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I want to ask a question, actually, before anything. Last meeting, we raised questions about the lighting that was on the outside of the building, whether that was within the code. And we were waiting for an answer from the building department on that, and we did not hear back from you. So what was the,
I thought you wanted it here, that's why I didn't answer, but I did go out there and I went out with the light meter and I measured it. There is no violation coming from the property itself, but in the middle of the street, then you could say that's violation because it's the higher lighting right in the middle of the street because of a street LED light. It's brighter than the light emitting from his business.
so it's one of the village's streetlights?
It's a street light, yeah, right in front of his, across the street from his business.
So the village's light violates the village code?
I don't know if that falls under that regulation.
Okay.
I think the streetlights are an exception to the village code, I
So
think.
I'm just trying to
I
get
think.
like, what is, yeah.
I
But
just wanted to
the,
let you know that it was brighter at the street, and then in the center of the street than it is
Okay.
on his business.
and if I recall correctly, Manny, the code requires the light at the property line
Right.
not to exceed. So it sounds from what you're saying that
Oh,
their
yeah,
lights are
well,
okay.
Yeah, well within, I mean, by the time I get to the sidewalk, he's very low. And then when you keep moving closer to the street, then it gets brighter again, but that's because of the street light.
Okay. All right then. Well, any members of, well, I guess, is there someone here to speak, or is Mr. Huerta want to speak on your behalf about what you're gonna do, just to let them, fill the public in? I think they kind of know, but,
Well, the lady where I called, it's coming in a minute.
oh, okay, she's just not here yet. Okay.
Should we wait for the transfer?
That's probably a good idea.
So now we can talk about it.
So now, we're just gonna pause, and then I guess we're gonna go back to the food truck, so we're not just sitting here doing nothing.
Nobody listens to me.
So yeah, Manny, there was a food truck parked actually in the driveway of Las Margaritas this morning, selling breakfast food. Everyone's talking about it in the village, it's on Facebook, I saw it, I was like, oh, cool, but I assumed that either they had a permit or, someone was aware of it. So, it was there selling breakfast, it seemed like people in the village were very happy based on
Yeah,
what
they
they
were.
posted on Facebook, but, that being said, that they still need to follow the rules, so,
Okay, then, I could ask him right now and find out.
you can, he's here.
Yes.
Tenía un camión vendiendo comida allá ahora.
No, no soy parte de, solo el señor vino, me preguntó que si podía parquear el carro ahí. Y yo le pregunté, ¿tienes todo en regla? ¿Hablaste con la policía? Y él dijo que sí. Por mí, no hay ningún problema.
All right.
So, you didn't know it was there and didn't give it
He
permission?
knew
Or
it
you
was
knew?
there, but he didn't, it's not part of his business. Somebody
Right.
just came and asked if they could park there.
Okay,
He asked them if they had other permits. They say yes.
okay.
I'm sorry. He gave me a couple papers to, show me and give it to me, and everything was fine. Just, he need to permit to, parking over there. That's what it is. I didn't know, nothing else.
Yeah, so you didn't really know, like, you were breaking
No,
any
I-
rules
I
letting
don't
him,
know.
okay,
Just it was a customer, just came over there and, it's a business guys, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't have nothing to do with, if he sell, I'm.
No,
close
but
to-
it's your property.
I'm sorry?
It's your property.
Well,
Don't-
I can't bring my truck over to your property and start selling something.
well, I told him only on Tuesdays because I'm close,
So he had your permission.
well, I'm saying, I give you permission if you have everything like,
Legal.
yeah, exactly. And he said, yes, I got everything. I talked to, by the police, I went, and he said, okay. And I asked him, give me a paper like that. If I got a problem, I show everything.
oh, sure.
And he said, yes, okay. That's what it is.
I think it's more about him than you.
So it's not him.
I'll find out right now if they had a permit from the village.
Okay,
Since we have a little bit of time anyway.
we got a little time, we're just waiting for the translator to show up, so.
Hi, Jean, it's Manny. How are you?
Jean likes to be called.
Those lights were
Permit for food truck,
reinstalled
Margaritas, 180.
probably 10, 12 years ago. And they are LEDs. They replaced the old phosphorus
The ones on the street.
on the street. Were all replaced by the LED lamps. We should find out what they're saving.
Yeah, if they're super
You know,
bright and
if it's
irritating.
if it's
Yeah.
if it's a significant amount of money, albeit good, but if
Yeah.
it's $5, you know,
No, they had no approval from the village
Okay,
and no approval from me either. So I'll make sure that it doesn't continue without the proper approval.
I mean, cause people were really happy about it, from,
But we can't have
can't just have
everybody
trucks
have a
pulling
truck
up.
in front of their house.
100%, yeah.
Or the health department approval. Spread the word. Wouldn't want anybody eating if it didn't have a health department approval.
well, that too, right? Yeah, okay.
The lady I called and he say he's not coming today. He got a little problem, family problem.
So
and
she's,
he's not,
okay.
Okay,
cannot do it today. Sorry.
okay, so,
Well, I got my daughter and
Yeah.
I mean, if your daughter's okay to speak on your behalf, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
So if you wanna just, for the public's benefit, just let them know what you're doing, and then we'll go ahead and take public comment, okay? So,
Well, we're just trying to put these two gazebos in front of the patio spaces.
Could you speak up a bit
Um,
louder?
sorry.
Thank you.
We're putting up two gazebos in front of the patios in front of our restaurant.
Hmm.
So people eat outside. The sun doesn't shine too much on them. We had umbrellas. They work, but when it rains most of the times, like it's very windy, so sometimes they fly away. Yeah, I always want to put these up, so they're better than some of the.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So, Barb, if you don't mind, I would start by, we received a letter from Rick Joya. I'm just gonna read this so that, and then we'll make sure you have a copy, but I'll read it so that everyone knows what Rick had to say. And then anyone here that wants to comment can. Rick Joy at 167 Hudson Street in Cornwall and Hudson. Dear Mr. Carmona and Planning Board, this morning my wife and I visiting the building department on Shore Road to revise the site plan proposal for 181 Hudson Street. I'd like to offer up a few concerns and comments. We've lived at 167 Hudson Street for almost 31 years. 181 Hudson Street was Max's restaurant when we first arrived, which we came to learn was a popular local spot. It closed shortly thereafter. Perhaps Max retired. Since then, I'd guess 6 or 7 food establishments have attempted to match Max's success, but unfortunately none have. Additionally, the building has gone vacant for extended periods without any active business operating. We wish the current proprietors a long success, but are concerned about the ramifications of a permanent structure. Our understanding is that this building, along with the adjacent property on Lafayette Street, are owned by someone other than Mr. Huerta. If this is the case, what are the ramifications, liability of erecting a permanent structure on the site? I'm concerned that the galvanized roofing material on these structures not be of an untreated and highly reflective bare metal surface, but rather be of an electrostatically coated, non-reflective, and pleasingly colored variety. I am concerned about signage. There is no mention of this on the site plan, but these structures will block the current sign attached to the front of the building. Is the assumption that the sign be moved to the front of these structures? That would be potentially problematic in terms of the visual impact in this SRCBS overlay zone. The placement of the existing sign is a grandfathered allowance to my thinking. This shouldn't be a haphazard process, as are the freestanding flags currently on the property, which I find mostly out of character with the immediate surroundings. The planning board should give serious consideration to the aesthetic impacts in this predominantly residential neighborhood. Also, does this site plan presume the existing awning be removed? I am concerned about sightlines and pedestrian safety. Many years ago, our then young daughter was riding her bike home on the south side of Hudson Street and was hit by a car exiting on the west side driveway, which is blind due to the retaining wall of the adjacent home, as well as the lilac hedge above it. Fortunately, she was shaken but not seriously hurt. We voiced our concerns to the police at the time, but because there was no ambulance or serious injury involved, these concerns were summarily dismissed. I would suggest that at the very least, the ingress-egress to the parking be one way, so the only entry onto the property be permitted on the western side and not exiting. This should be clearly marked. Additionally, although we assume the outdoor dining at Pepitini's is being used for reference in this instance, any beautification of this site with greenery, which would be a very welcome addition to all, should be low enough as to not restrict vehicular sightlines exiting onto Hudson Street or between pedestrians and vehicles in general. Lastly, we've been negatively impacted by the lighting plan on this property, which is not in compliance with the village lighting law. In particular, the light on the eastern side is excessively bright, unshielded, and of an industrial cold color temperature. The lighting on the front north facing side could be better shielded from spilling onto surrounding residential properties. In short, these are small corrections which would make a big difference in the character of the surrounding neighborhood without impacting this business's ability to attract customers. I would hope the goal would be to respect and maintain the quality of life and property values of their neighbors. Sincerely, Rick Joya. There you go, Barb. Thank you. Would any other members of the public that are here tonight like to comment?
Should I just, oh, no, you go.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'm just gonna put a couple of comments.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Just if you could give your name and address for the record.
Barbara Smith, 167 Hudson Street. Again, I want to emphasize that we want this business to succeed. It's better to have a successful business than a vacant building for, months on end, maybe even years. So the concern I have is that when the novelty wears off, I'm worried that it becomes sort of shabby and disheveled. So like banners, the banners, they go up, they look nice for 3 weeks, and then they get torn and drab and they lose their appeal. I'm just curious, are the structures parallel or perpendicular to the building? Just a curiosity on my part. The
Parallel,
roof line would be
right? Hang on, let me pull out my other picture from
parallel
us.
to logical.
I think they are,
It's almost
but they might
area-
not be.
That area is almost.
It's a square.
It's parallel.
Were they?
Parallel.
Yeah, they were gonna go. No,
No, there's
They're not.
There's a picture.
but they're not.
Computer made picture that.
Not in the
shows
new
that.
ones
Hang on, it's in here
we just
somewhere.
received.
Oh, it is, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Parallel.
My other question, will there be lights attached to the structures themselves?
That's something.
That would be, I believe that to be part of the plan if they intend to do that.
There's
So
nothing
that-
shining.
Only the light that's on the building right now, which he proposed to change to cover the bulb, so,
Okay.
that was the
Oh,
only issue.
shielding?
It would be
Okay.
shielding on that, like a
Okay.
gooseneck type of shielding.
Okay,
so
If anybody
we'll be able
wants-
to see the bulb.
okay, thank you.
But it would depend on how late the restaurant stays open
If anybody wants to,
and how dark the evening is.
Yeah, that's right.
this
Yeah.
is, it's like a photoshopped image
Okay.
of what we're gonna
Manny,
do.
under the gazebo, are there lights hanging or?
String light, yeah, but
String
it-
lights.
It's a string light, they very
Hmm.
low light.
Yeah. Here, I have so many pictures. Where'd those lights go, Lee? You're stealing my pages.
No, that's my page.
No, that's my page.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'll just put this up here, so if anybody wants to see, they did like a Photoshop of what it would look like with the two structures in front. And then, let me borrow that too. And then this is the type of lights they wanna hang under.
But are they electrified, the lights, or are they battery powered?
It says they're plug-in LED string lights.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. Okay.
And just one more thing about lights.
Sure.
I noticed, like a week after the last meeting that we had, where we discussed blending in the neighborhood, they had strong green and red blinking lights. They look like holiday lights, but I'm thinking maybe that's for Cinco de Mayo coming up or something, maybe it's a special decoration that would have
A window.
Other than that, I wish them luck.
Thanks, Barb. Charlie? State your name and address for the record,
My
please.
name's Charlie Moore, I live at 184 Hudson Street, directly across from David's Restaurant. I was over talking to him last night about the aesthetics of what he wants to do there. And I gotta try to tell him that it doesn't really fit in to the neighborhood and do something different, maybe a nice canopy coming out, or even a better set of umbrellas and tables instead of the cheap floppy ones he had out there that blow around. If you get a good set of umbrellas, some nice tables, it would look nice. But the structure that he wants to put, I don't think it's gonna fit into the neighborhood at all. That's my own personal, I have nothing against his business, I love it, but if he did it a more attractive setting, I was trying to explain to him that he would probably attract more of the local people to go there to eat. Like the way, the Storm King Lounge is done and Peppertini's is done, they're packed. And he could be packed there too, if he set it up nice outside to make it more desirable for people to, I like to eat out there.
Is there any value in asking someone to translate this?
I don't know if I can do it, might be a conflict of interest, but.
You good? Okay.
He spoke last night.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you're understanding what the public's saying.
Well, I understand a little bit, not really too much, but I mean, couple.
Okay.
If, Joe, if it is legally okay, can Manny explain to him basically what we are talking about? Because I don't think everything is getting through.
Well, yeah, sure, there's nothing improper about it. It's kind of, it'd be tough for, I mean, I guess you can summarize. I mean,
I'll summarize.
yeah, sure.
Porque el público, las dos personas que han hablado han dicho, la señora estaba explicando que ella no ve en el plano que se presentó qué tú vas a hacer con el letrero, exactamente, y también el toro que está ahí que si se va a quitar, eso nos enseñó. Ella también tiene un poquito de preocupación por las luces, el tipo de luces que tú vas a usar ahí afuera, puede ser un problema. El señor también estaba diciendo que él, como habló contigo, prefiere que tú pongas algo diferente, algo un poquito más atractivo, que esté más o menos como los restaurantes que están, el Pepetini, el restaurante que está ahí, y el otro restaurante que tienen algo así más o menos similar, que atrae más a la comunidad local. Todo el mundo está muy contento con tu negocio, quieren que tú tengas éxito ahí, pero que no creen que esto que tú estás proponiendo cae bien en ese vecindario.
Bueno, de hecho, yo no lo quería hacer, ¿verdad? Porque pues es un gasto innecesario, que el business no es mío. Yo solamente hago lo que el cliente me pide y que pienso que para el cliente sea lo mejor para él. Hay clientes que yo les digo, le pongo la foto ahí, en realidad todos los clientes que van ahí están esperando que yo los ponga. Yo no he escuchado a ninguna persona que diga todo lo contrario. Las luces, la verdad, son 2 horas exactamente que están prendidas, porque abro a las 11, no están prendidas hasta las 8 de la noche porque ya está tarde día, no necesito prender las luces. Yo cierro a las 10 y tengo clientes, y si no, 9:30. En realidad 1 hora, hora y media lo que está prendiendo.
Can we pause here and you tell us?
Yeah.
That's a lot to remember, and yeah.
He said this is not something he really wanted to do to begin with. The only reason he's doing it because the customer that do go there now are requesting something so they can sit outside and be protected from the element better than what he had before, which was the umbrellas. This is the only reason why he's doing it. He posted the same picture on the restaurant, and the people that do go there, they can't wait. They say they can't wait for this. They really like it. They want to see it. They want him to install it already. This is the reason why he's doing it. As far as the lighting, he said it should not be a major issue regardless, because they're probably only going to be on for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. He closes by 10. If he has customers, now by 9:30 he'll be closed. They probably will not go on until 8:30 anyway because of the daylight. So most likely, 1.5 hours to 2 hours of lighting for the exterior.
I know you have something to say.
In the materials that were submitted to members of the planning board this past week was an image that those of us who saw it, I think, found interesting. Are you aware of this?
Bueno, eso es, me pidieron que les mostrara algo que vamos a poner alrededor para que el viento, el agua no entre. Y eso es lo único que yo encontré en realidad.
Okay, he said that he only showing that to indicate some kind of protective covering, because that was requested or mentioned by somebody at one of the meetings. So he's only showing that picture to show what kind of protective covering he may be using.
So it's- So it's not, that is not the intent of,
You cannot do this.
Well, I want to put something like when the winter wind is coming, you know, for the customer, or if it's rain, the water don't go inside. Put something like protection to the customer. That's how I was thinking, really.
This, in my opinion anyway, as a board member, is much more attractive than the structures you have shown us.
but I think what this is, like, it's not the structure. He's wanting to show you the curtains. So
It's the
It's not the
curtains.
structure.
I-
It's the plastic,
I
it's like a
understand.
plastic rain curtain is what he's showing you.
No, that's fine. I'm telling him the result of this arrival is this is much more attractive. If he couldn't do this, I don't know why he put it in the material. That's,
Well,
He
he's
put it
not
in to
saying-
show the
Something
curtains.
different.
He's not showing the, it's not the gazebo he's
oh,
showing.
he's only.
He's showing that he's
that.
gonna put up like a plastic
Okay,
curtain.
okay, if that's everyone else's opinion, I don't think that is true. It may be that's what he intended. What he did was provide us with a much more attractive structure for in front of his business.
Yeah, but I don't think that what was the intent. I think the intent was just to show the
That's
curtain.
why he explained to me the intent is for only the protective covering, the curtains.
Right.
You know, so you get an idea what, what type of curtains he may be
So
installing.
what type of curtain is this? Is
Well, I
it
mean,
like
¿qué
a
tipo de
plastic
material
curtain?
es? ¿Es de plástico o es de
Es plástico.
Oh, okay. I'm
plastic?
En realidad no hay muchas cosas para tapar esas cosas. O sea, mi intención es ponerlas y después de ahí ver qué yo puedo hacer para el cliente que, por ejemplo, si está lloviendo, no le entre el agua, ¿me entiendes? O sea,
He said he didn't find too many options. That's why he looked at that one and said it might work. He'll put it up. If it doesn't work, then he'll remove it.
Yeah,
Just so the only time you're gonna use it if it's raining,
right. Yeah.
and that's why. He
Those customers that want these things, they live in the village? Are there any one of them here?
Los clientes que están diciendo que les gusta el proyecto son clientes de aquí del pueblo.
En realidad no sabría decirles que si son del pueblo, porque en realidad no les preguntamos de dónde son.
He said he hasn't asked them, so he doesn't know if they're from the village or not.
No, I mean, they should be here, supporting the guy.
Dice que por qué no están aquí dándole soporte a su proyecto.
Bueno, no sabría decirles. Yo no los mando a ellos. ¿No? I don't know about those customers.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm talking, like say, I got 2 flights over there in front of my business. I put it in because customer told me, why you put something like that when I press over here, I saw it's a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
You know, that's why I put it in. You know, it's not because I want to put it in. You know.
So then I would say if this is more driven from the customers, and I think that a lot of us think that it doesn't necessarily suit the character of the village. Like when you look at the other restaurants in the village, and other businesses, kind of what Mr. Moore was talking about, like more nicer table with a umbrella versus 2 permanent structures with the tables that you have there, or more suitable of the character of the small village, and probably would bear a similar cost to putting up these 2 structures. Would you consider doing that instead, because really it's important what the people that live in the village, especially the surrounding neighborhood, you know.
Está un poquito preocupado con el tipo de escritura que tú estás usando y prefieren a ver si tú puedes conseguir algo más simple, algo que vaya más con el carácter del pueblo, con el área, porque consideran que esto es un poquito demasiado fuerte para ese vecindario.
Bueno, I buy those things because I see it's strong. Somebody, I not remember what kind of things, no sé qué por ciento tiene de fuerte de aire en Cornwall. Entonces, por eso es que compramos eso. Yo quería comprar algo más sencillo, pero vuelvo a lo mismo. The umbrellas, when people who are sitting down over there, when the window is flow down,
He's concerned about the
and
wind.
I don't want to put something.
Concerned about the wind low in this area, being that we're so close to the river, you know, you get a lot of gust of wind. So that's why he doesn't think the umbrella will be a good idea. He's gonna be constantly having issues with the umbrella.
I like it to the umbrellas too,
Yeah.
you know, but the thing is, you know, sometimes I do everything for the customers, serve more happy.
Yeah.
And I sit down over there, you know, and because when the umbrellas, you sit down over there and sometimes like,
They blow,
raining.
yeah.
and then people get his place, go right away to inside, you know.
Yeah.
And with this one, you can continue to finish your
You can sit and eat your
enjoy
meal.
the meal over there or whatever, and you stay still over there. That's why I want to do it. You know, it's not because I want to spend money for something.
No, I understand, yeah. These should. you wanna bring it up?
The same issue. If you have umbrella and it gets windy, you have to roll them, you know, have to put them away. Roll them down or, you know, wind them down. If it's raining and these structures are there, then he has to go out there and put the curtains on. Curtains are not gonna be on all day. If it's a nice day, curtains are not gonna be on, it's only for rain. So effort is the same, cost is almost half or nothing. Plus, if he wants to do the umbrellas in nice tables, he doesn't even have to be here.
Él dice que lo de la ventaja de la sombrilla es, si hace mucha brisa, va a tener que cerrarla o quitarla, que va a ser prácticamente lo mismo que con esto. Si hace mucha brisa o está lloviendo, tú vas a tener que instalar las cortinas que tú estás proponiendo poner. Y si tú pones la sombrilla, pues no tienes que estar aquí en este meeting. Te puedo dar yo el permiso.
No, pues yo voy a continuar a hacer esto. Bien. O sea, yo no quiero regresar con las sombrillas. Ya las compré esto. No puedo regresarlas. Entonces, o sea, ya gasté dinero en esto. O sea, no me queda de otra seguir a continuar para que me den el permiso.
Yeah, he really rather continues with the project as proposed. He already invested some money, some time in it. You know, the idea is already set in place for those customers that do want it. So he asking that, you know, please let him continue and look at it.
Yeah,
I'm
just here.
Kevin Finn with 187 Hudson Street, directly next door. And you know, we've watched the Cortes set up their business, and they've been great neighbors, and admiring them for all their hard work and setting up the restaurant, trying to make it work, and rooting for them to do as well as possible. And I think something distinctive about that building that you need to consider, you know, thinking about other restaurants in the village and context, is how close it is to the street, to the sidewalk. There's only, I don't know, it's maybe 15 feet between the front of the building to the sidewalk. You know, if you're putting something, it's already kind of a crowded area right now. If you add something big to structures, it's really just gonna seem very, very tight up against the sidewalk and kind of, it's like putting just two things in conflict with each other. And I think, I'm saying this is kind of what I would say is advice for it to be successful, is I think you'd like even though I understand that you wanna create, shelter from rain, so you can have people use it more often, I think you should try to keep the character as more of an outdoor plaza. Plantings, open air, seating, I think just given the proximity to the street, to keep it less cramped would be a more pleasant place to be. And I think to add those big structures over there, I don't think it's going to be as inviting as you think it's going to be. Kind of dark, hulking, and just not as pleasant as it is now.
Ahí sé que también no está de acuerdo con que tú instales esa estructura ahí, porque el edificio ahora está aproximadamente como 15 pies de la calle, el edificio y la acera. Añadir esa toda estructura va como a encerrar esa área más, se va a ver demasiado lleno. Entonces él considera que tú debes mantener eso como una forma de una plaza, así abierto al aire como está. Porque él no cree que ese te va a dar el resultado que tú estás esperando que te va a dar. Porque va a oscurecer el área mucho. Manteniéndola abierta te da más vista y posiblemente la gente la disfrute más.
And actually, one other thing is I don't know if you know, but that building used to be a garage. So behind, at the front wall of your dining room, there were two, so was Village Pizza. There were two big garage doors there. So if you really, if you have a need to kind of create shelter from rain, kind of have it more of like open air, but more of a sheltered area, you could consider like, putting in some big doors there, do like garage doors that would open up on a nice day. That way you could kind of sit near the entrance, you could still be shaded. It's just a suggestion.
Una sugerencia que él tiene que ese edificio era un garaje antes. Donde está la área de comer adentro, ahí se parqueaban vehículos. Entonces, una idea es si tú abres esa pared de adelante como en forma de puerta de garaje, que puedan abrir para arriba. En los días bonitos, pues tú puedes abrir y la gente está adentro y afuera al mismo tiempo.
So one quick thing I think is important for the public to know, I think we discussed this, and I think it's imperative for, I hear some of your concerns, and I think you folks should know that. We did ask them that to embellish that a little bit, to bring in some flowers, some landscaping, the colors that are there on the fence, tone that down, make that match the actual structure. So there are some things that I think we already asked them to do to make that a little bit embellish a little bit. We understand that it's not a perfect structure, but hopefully he follows our recommendation to get some landscaping done like around there to kind of like embellish it a little bit.
Una de las cosas que ellos te pidieron que hiciera para que el público sepa era que le dé un poquito más de vida. Si pone la estructura, que ponga plantas, que le dé un color que sea casi similar al edificio, para que sea parte del edificio y no se vea que sobresale. Eso está lo que les digo, que ellos te dijeron a ti que si te lo aprueban, hace con condiciones como esa.
Was there any consideration of, I think someone suggested it, just an awning off the current building rather than, because that, that's not permanently out there. I don't know.
The awning place in New Windsor and spoke with him, and he could put up a nice awning on each side. It's expensive though, and it's something to enlighten the area. You have to put some money in.
Sure.
And trying to keep it simple with nice umbrellas and nice tables, and see how it does. But if you go put up a $6,000 awning, it's
Oh, it's a
hard
different
for somebody
ballgame.
who's in the business trying to make it work.
Yeah.
That's what I understand what he's trying to say. But you don't want to turn it into a monstrosity either.
No, yeah, I mean, it's considerably like,
I see people, not that many people eat out there in the summertime. It's nice. I think they like the open air with the umbrellas more than being underneath the canvas.
Yeah, I mean, something to consider is that once this is up, this is always up. So now there's no opportunity to sit out in the sun on a nice day, because in the summer, yeah, it gets maybe hot and you want to be under an umbrella, but on a nice fall day or a spring day, you might want to just be out there in the sun eating outside, and that option is gone now because these would be permanently bolted to the ground, right? So,
Una sugerencia que están diciendo es poner un toldo, esos que se abren y se cierran, pero el señor dice que él lo averiguó y cuestan como $6,000 para hacerlo, que es un gasto bastante fuerte. Pero que si te dan este permiso de la estructura, es algo que se queda ahí permanente. Por ejemplo, si alguien quiere salir en el otoño y coger un poco de sol, ya no puede porque el toldo está ahí, la estructura está ahí, ya queda cubierta. Entonces, quieren que lo mantenga simple, quizá con unas sombrillas.
Manny, I have a question, if you don't mind. So the way that we discussed previously about them affixing it to the ground, so these would be permanent. So it's not just the summer; they would be in the fall and the winter.
Permanent structure.
So it's not something that they can take out in the winter and reaffix in the spring, right?
No,
Okay.
he's gonna put studs in the ground.
you remember?
Right, but even with that, I was wondering if there was still a way to.
Then you leave a safety
Move it.
issue, people tripping over them.
Yeah.
Una sugerencia que el señor dijo era que si algo que se pudiera poner y quitar, por ejemplo, ponerla en el verano y quitarla en el invierno. Pero es una estructura que tiene que ser permanente, eso va a ser difícil.
So, one quick advice I would give to him, I would say, kind of pretty much, you want flexibility, right? You want to be able to please the customers who want this, and also please us here who's saying that this structure does not quite belong in the village, right? And I think the owning idea is a phenomenal idea, right? If you have a hot, sunny day and you have a customer out there who does not want to be under the sun, right? You could just turn the awning on and then you just bring it in. And if you have 5 more customers who wants to enjoy the sun, you could bring it out. So this doesn't give you flexibility. This, you're only pleasing those customers who wants the shade. But how about the customers who wants the sun, right? Then now you kind of taking those out. And again, as a business owner, it's important for you to kind of think, how do I please everyone? And the owning idea might be expensive, but I think it's a way for you as a business owner to kind of please everyone, right? You can bring it out or bring it in. And then at the end of the season, you just turn it in, right? And then you have the sun in for the fall people, and then you bring it back out in the summertime.
Allow something on a growth business with him, a growth phase in his business. And if he wants to do something of this sort later on, he can bring it back before the planning board. Why does he need to do this all of a sudden? I think he's probably been selling this to customers,
Maybe.
telling them what a wonderful thing this is.
Anyone on the board?
You know, if this is my opinion, and if I was him, I would build my business with the umbrellas, which are a lot cheaper, good table. When I have a big customer base, then I go for the awnings. The awnings are expensive, and they're motorized awning, they're very nice to have.
La sugerencia de él es, él dice que lo ideal que él piensa que debe de hacer es poner la sombrilla primero hasta que el negocio se desarrolle más. Cuando tenga un negocio más desarrollado, entonces que ponga los toldos. Pero como son caros, pues te da tiempo para reunir ese dinero y tener una clientela más amplia.
Well, I mean, I already buy it. So already buy it. The thing is, I was not thinking I need to permit to put it in because I don't want to say names.
Yeah.
He told me, listen, why you don't do this, do this, right? And I was good idea, and I saw the restaurant, the Italian restaurant, he have one, and I was looking in the internet, and I find a couple of things, those. Then, and I asked again the guy, listen, can I put it in, or I need to burn? No, you can do it, whatever, and I made a mistake, maybe I made a mistake, I buy it already, and when I want to put it in, I'm thinking, listen, why I'm going to the inspector. Maybe he can tell me if I need it or not, because I don't want to put it in. And then after a week, hey, listen, what are you doing? Take it out. No, and I don't want to do like this. I want to try to always do correct everything.
Yeah.
That's why, and then I went.
I mean, it is unfortunate you bought them before you got permission to build. Have you tried returning them?
Yes.
They won't even take them back with a restocking fee?
From
Most
BJ's?
places, BJ's returns everything. They don't even look.
I say no.
That surprises me.
Because generally most stores, they want to make some money, they charge you restocking fee and put it back.
There may still be a way to resell them to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean, it is.
It's easy, like, I mean, put on Facebook, sell them, and nothing happened over there, or give it to somebody else. Then when the time is coming, the people want it, some part is destroyed, some part, because it's already over there, in how many years it's going to take me to sell or whatever. You know, that's why I want to try to put it in, you know. And I'm saying, I mean,
There's no place you
sometimes I
can
do
store it.
for the customers, not because I want it, you know. A lot of things I do over there because sometimes if I can do it, I do it for the customer to be more happy, you know. Sometimes customer want over there, listen, I want like this drink, can you buy? Then when I buy my liquor, I remember and I buy that liquor for that customer,
Yeah.
you know. And if the customer he don't want it like every week or it's coming every month or every 2 months, I mean I don't care. I got the liquor and it's not going to be bad for him, you know. That's why. So do it.
Is there any place these structures can be stored in the meantime? If the suggestion were made that they're in a building phase in the restaurant, but they get to the point where they can afford to make a change that the village would like, going to an awning, which I think is a marvelous idea. I understand that the applicant cannot afford that now, but as his business grows, there may come a time when he can do that.
Dice que sea alguna manera que tú puedas guardar esa estructura por ahora y como un negocio se va a ir desarrollando más luego, pueda entonces instalar los tornos, que parece que esa es la idea que a ellos les gusta más.
Inside, it's going to be the same thing. I mean, another 3-4 months when I'm going to spend over here. You know, I mean, if I left over there in my restaurant, because it's outside right now. You know, I don't have a space downstairs. You know, and I keep over there for 1 year, 2 years. Then after that one, I gotta come back over there, do all the stuff what I did like before. You know, it's the same.
I think the difficult part here is that you purchased them before you knew whether it was allowed to, like whether it was gonna be approved to put up. So, I mean, that places like a burden on us, like, you know, that we feel bad about that, right? Because we feel bad that you spent money and now you're saying you can't return that. But that doesn't necessarily change the fact that it really, I don't think that, you know, it fits the character of what we want to see down in the village. as it's presented. I know that you referenced Pepitini, and they have a structure similar to this, but it's surrounded in a stone wall. It's got plants everywhere. Like it's kind of apples and oranges.
And it's custom made. Peppertini is custom made, you know, this is just,
Yes,
you know, yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm
'cause they
saying that, yeah,
reference that.
yeah, I'm agreeing with you, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, like I'm told many, like, I went everything when I put it in those little things. I want to put the plants, I want to put the decoration over there, like that, more happy or whatever for the customers. Not like simple over there, you know. Of course, I want to put the plants, a little bit lights, not to like I told many. I don't want to put like lights like reflect all the customers. No, you know,
Yeah.
like, little bit like that can people stay over there, sit down because one of those lights for those parties right now is I'm going to take it out because it's going to it's not gonna any more of those lights. Now we're going to put around those.
The ones you included, yeah.
Exactly. And I put plants over there. You know, that's I'm thinking. You know, I don't do nothing right now because I'm waiting for the proof this that I can put it in.
May I ask, where are these now?
In the restaurant outside.
Are they visible?
You mean, he's just got these in storage,
They're in
outside in
boxes.
boxes? You know, they're just.
They're in
the-
boxes, right,
Yes.
man?
They're just in the
In
boxes.
front of the restaurant?
No,
No, I don't think so.
in the back,
Oh,
yeah.
They're
He
in the
just
back?
doesn't have a place to
Yeah.
keep
they
them.
get, but they can't stay there because they're taking up too much parking space.
In the back?
Well, I
No,
just
no.
think that it's not,
It's not taking space. Or I mean, for the parking, it's just outside, close to the building. You know, that's what it is right now.
I don't think
Yeah, they're
there's
just long
parking back
boxes.
there.
yeah, I don't think
I don't
that's
think there's
the
parking
issue,
back there.
that he can't, like, keep them in the boxes. I think it's that he bought them and he wants to put them up,
Yes.
because he spent the money on it. So, you know, that's.
Yeah.
Because even, I mean, I obviously prefer the awning suggestion, but that's, you know, exponentially more, you know, expensive. So it's,
Yeah, because I mean, I saw the restaurant the Italian restaurant. I saw that one too. If he put it in, why I cannot do it? You know, that's why I buy.
It's not identical.
Mr. Welto, I've been to your restaurant many, many times since day one. Since day one. And I like it. I like you guys. I've go there way too many times. But I can tell you this, right? It's not the same thing. All right. What you have here is a structure that belongs in a backyard, right? That you bring in right up front by a street. So it is not the same thing. Peppertini's is custom made, well thought of. I'm not saying this is not well thought of. I'm saying this is kind of like a little bit of the shortcut version of what say Peppertini did. With all due respect, you may not have the resources that he has, and we understand that. We're just trying to find a way to kind of like make sure that you remain successful, right? Continue to feed us in the village and keep the image of the village, right? Because that's not the same thing as Peppertini. This has like a metal roof. It's just not the same thing. It's the same idea, but it's just not the same thing.
Maybe.
Talk to Joe, see where we go from.
why not?
Maybe he could sell them.
Okay, we're not gonna suggest that. Let's talk to Joe, see where we go now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe?
What do we do now?
Why don't we take, I would suggest this, if the public hearing is closed, or once it's closed,
Yeah.
I would suggest that I meet with the board for a few minutes to talk solely about the legal issues. It's for the board to make the findings of fact and determine whether or not the application will be approved or not. But I can see the arrows the decision tree that everybody's trying to go through.
Yeah.
So I can speak with you in attorney-client session for a few minutes, give you some guidance, and then you can make your determination as to how to proceed.
That would be great. So I guess that at this time, I would ask any members of the public that are here if they have any further comment they'd like to submit to the board.
And I'll give, sorry.
Anyone?
Thank you for being here
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, we really appreciate
And we can, I'll just, a slight amendment. The board really has two options. If the public's done speaking, I can speak with the board in attorney-client before you close the public hearing in case you want to come back out and maybe put more comments on the record. So now that the public's done speaking, if you want to adjourn into attorney-client session for a few minutes,
Yes.
come back out,
Why
then
don't we
you
do
can.
that? We'll
Okay.
keep the public hearing open for a few minutes and talk to them. So we have to kick everyone out?
Well, either
I don't
somebody,
know how to
either they leave or we leave,
You
I
can't,
don't know how to
so,
pause the
so
stream.
then
Yeah.
we'll leave.
so we'll leave.
Okay. You guys stay tight if you want, or you can leave. And we'll be back in a couple minutes.
I will have to learn how to unstream
That's
and
okay.
pause it or something.
Wherever you like.
What's over there?
I don't live in the village, I don't pay taxes.
Just for everybody, the mic, we are still live and the mics are still live. I don't know how much is picking up. You can sort of see the, just in case. Right. Okay, so if you take medicine, Jackie's on the show, and I guess she's gonna tell me. Yeah, she's gonna do a silent bite afterwards. Because there's something that's supposed to come out, like, she's still pretty long. Yeah, Judy.
When I got, when I was in here, over there, I can get my legal license. And that's why I came to New York to get legal license. Now in New York, you know, the way I wanted to do my resume. Because, I'm thinking I wanna paint around, but like a Mexican.
So there was sort of a lull in the
I wanna
action,
do it
and now
white.
it's opening up.
so I really wanna go, I wanna be there. And I like the artists who are showing. You know, very interesting, so I wanna go, and I may be getting a show here in the fall, so, yeah, it's something to look forward to. What about Ann Street, is that still active? Ann Street is active too, so we changed directors, remember Virginia? I like her a lot. They decided she was. So they didn't, they thought it was just too, I think it was too, I don't want to use the word long, but it wasn't, they didn't feel like it was bringing in enough in the community. You know, it was very. They're not kidding. I didn't sleep at night. I didn't sleep either until made it. I was saying, oh my God, that stuff's down there all night. But that's wonderful to look back. This is. Like crazy. It's so easy going. But, yeah, I look back at some of the stuff. I was like, how did I ever do that? I just met him. I did it, and they came, yeah. Can't think about things too much, right? I know. Yeah, you do. I mean, I was so excited about doing that show. That was, but it was. It was. And then after I did it, we thought, what's my son, just got it like this. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Like the site you get, kayaking.
No, it was a good point.
Potential for. It's younger crowd.
So it's a sunny day, so it's shoot.
Anyway, I have to look at the time. I think they're overlapping. I don't know if I can get up there and get back on. I'm glad Newburgh's. It's so. Do you think the Orange County, they're still doing well? Orange County, Arts Council? Yeah, just Randy, McClendon, who ran for town council, didn't win. She said she chose not to run again, but she's working for us. She just got a job this year. Operations assistant. Boundary thing, so fantastic. Did you go to that? No. Oh, the gallery. Oh, but yeah, I heard it was great. I heard it was really good. And now the Foundry Kathy's doing the memorial for Dick. But the Foundry's gonna do, Sunday. It is. I'm surprised that, I think, even the point where yeah, I know, right? Wow. It's been 3 years, 3.5 years since he's been home. You know, because I noticed I wasn't seeing them around. But the Foundry was yeah. And she's done a book on it. And Dan did the show. So you do that, celebrate this. She's gonna do a second book and they're gonna help her start an internship. Oh, wonderful. That's so nice. So we'll start like a fund. Yeah, just go. Yeah. So that Foundry was done.
I don't want to say something, nada, like.
Yeah, and you know, there's so much to like. And it doesn't. Giants are, yeah. But Neil's doing something with all of them. Yeah. We just went to see a meeting on Sunday, I haven't been there forever, it's right there. Right, so we just went, and I just went. Magazine is great. Oh,
That's it. I mean,
Been many meetings.
yeah, good job.
Shaved off the stash,
Huh?
shaved off the mustache.
Yeah, it was too much maintenance. I was too busy, so, you know, I just wasn't going right anymore anyway.
Because at first, it always coming like that. And, after that one, when you put it in, and then you
Took a break
figure
this
out
time.
what kind of color.
Yeah, and have you heard anything from?
Oh, just, clear,
I know she wanted to.
like,
She just haven't been able to find anybody to do the drawings properly.
color.
That's the problem.
Gate. Right before you had street. On Dock Hill Road? Not Dock Hill, on, right past Pepitine.
Oh, that way, going down River Road.
She's got like, how many houses? He has the property, big property.
Oh, what's your name? Huh?
No, it's not, it's just the color.
I worked, I did some stuff for her.
Yeah.
Yes, she has a personality.
I
She
was
went
looking
to,
for the
and she put a fence completely around the property,
color.
and it goes over into the cemetery.
And I opened,
Goes through a street.
it's a pink picture.
Goes through the street.
And so,
And put that anchor fence all around, I don't know what it was.
I think it must cost like $100,000.
Oh, easy, easy. And it goes into the Church Street cemetery.
Yeah.
And it cuts in, and it's like,
Just sat around the porch.
it's a cemetery, yeah. So you have to be enclosed, you want nobody coming through, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably walked across the street.
Now she wants
Now, trees are falling down on it, messing up, the fences getting all messed up. That's where, as you walk through the front of your property. You remember when I put the measuring tape, it went about almost past the ceiling, you're like, whoa, what the? That's what everybody realized, whoa, this is really high.
We were talking about, we're like, you got the measurements on a piece of paper.
And
You started looking like you they should just room them.
that's where
Used to
you didn't buy
Oh my
it.
God, this thing's like a
I
room.
said,
You know,
if you don't buy it,
If she was
then
proposing to put it right,
she's thinking what kind of stuff.
I don't think anyone would care.
I can't see it, I can't see it.
Like,
There's a house back there too on the left.
that.
Used to be a retired professional. He is, everybody lives in the house. A couple of houses,
Like 3 houses.
like three, yeah. Well, the first one going in was hers, the white one. She moved that there. That was.
That's
That's
right.
good.
they just moved around.
And he was.
What's,
Okay. No, I just got a lot of.
I know. It's been an exact picture.
Wish I could say
What
it.
are the pictures?
I haven't seen her in a
But,
while.
you know, like sitting outdoors is nice.
I thought she wanted to get before the wedding.
Yeah.
I think the wedding was in June.
Yeah, she kept saying spring. One at a time.
I thought she was married.
Fiance's a very nice guy.
Very nice guy, yeah, very patient, very mellow.
Two meetings. Plans, show us where this thing is. Going back to the time. I still don't know where the hell this thing is.
The architect actually found, or the engineer, they did a half-price job, you know, just wasn't worth it. So, you know, come on.
That thing is gonna cost, it's huge. It's gonna be custom made, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, she was like iron gate up.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
put
big building,
big,
yeah,
stone
big
or brick pillars on her side, then
She didn't have like a road, is he gonna sit back away?
she's originally from Cornwall.
Right there. You got that house, you got that house right there, right on that.
Right.
Property
Well,
line.
that's the thing. Zoning, we gotta figure out where it is, so it's not like,
If I had anything to do with it, they accused themselves.
it's cutting just some other house off.
And they took out the tree and threw. I mean. Do you still have a license? I was just in
So
today.
putting up a deck.
I know what the fencing is, but
You just had down one. It was just on construction.
well, I guess.
Well, I guess. They're saying they were trying to like get rid of it, and now that the pandemic's over, people were like, what do you like?
And you have trees coming down, of course, now breaking certain spots, but then again,
What do you mean, just the people or vacant?
the Cornwall town, there's someone.
Signs of buildings are released. And that's next to 70.
This community's just trying to figure out.
Oh, and I was going to the hospital too, so I was saying, the neonatology was still there.
La verdad, yo también.
It was, oh, wow.
Por eso decidí, la verdad, es que pasaron muchas cosas, porque por ejemplo,
No.
cuando me dijo, cuando vi lo de, primero cuando empezó, cuando vi lo de la sombrilla de verdad, y después digo, bueno, ¿por qué no pongo algo diferente, no? Que no sean sombrillas. Y llegó el señor que conozco, y le pregunté y me dijo, no, puedes poner, acabo de meterme en internet, encontré un DJ, estaban en especial, estaban tres,
Just gone.
solamente, pues los compré, es muy fácil. Digo, bueno, los pongo, ya pues cuando quiero ponerlo, digo, y si tengo problemas, y que la que no los empieza a poner, digo, no, mejor voy a ver, mejor. Ya fue como yo los contacté, entonces me paré y digo, ahorita no puedo regresarlo porque pues ya va a ser casi un año que lo compramos en realidad, porque lo compré porque estaba en especial y digo, bueno, si yo pido permiso, ¿verdad? Y necesito permiso, vas a querer verlos cuáles son, ¿verdad? Entonces, y no los tengo, al tiempo que yo los busque y a ver si hay, era algo complicado, la verdad. Pero nunca pensé que fuera en realidad. O sea, yo pensé, digo, bueno, digo, o sea, hay que presentarlo, ¿no? O sea, presentarlo, enseñarles qué es, cómo se va a hacer, qué es lo que está.
La verdad te digo, se hace el papel primero.
She just had a different perception of the work.
Dibujos, fotos, cosas así.
I got my grandson over.
Ajá, porque bueno, les digo, a veces los pueblos son diferentes, ¿verdad? Porque más antes, o sea, este es un restaurante que yo tengo, he tenido más, ¿verdad? Acompañado con mis hermanos. Y sí, a veces vamos a hacer algo y vamos al pueblo. Y pues sí, ahora nos dicen que con lo que hacemos vamos a hacer y se les presenta y al mes ahí está el permiso.
Yeah.
Y
Sorry, we're back.
Right.
sí, lo mismo que le pasó a mi hermano aquí arriba, compró también de él y le dio ya él le una figura de ahí.
No, chair, like this kind of chair. You could do that. No, you're the one who.
Okay, sorry about that. Oh, sorry. Denise was in the hallway still. I think in our conversation there, I don't think that there's anything that I personally need to add during the public hearing. If there's anything anyone on the board wants to add to the record to the public hearing? Is there anything anyone in the audience would like to add to the public hearing? I apologize for making you sit, and then we're not saying anything more for the public hearing, but, but I would go ahead and make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. McKay?
All right, so at this point, the board needs to make two determinations. First, we need to make a secret determination, and then you need to vote on the application if the board, and if the board's ready to do both of those things. Those are the next two steps. So the board's been presented with a short environmental assessment form, and the board's heard the comments from the public. So at this point, the board needs to make a determination of significance under seeker. So if, what I would suggest is that the chairwoman pose a vote to issue a negative declaration on the application under seeker. Ask for a second.
I would make a motion for a negative declaration under secret. Do I have a second? I second it.
Or any discussion.
Do we want to have any discussion about this? No.
Okay,
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
okay. Now the board needs to go ahead and make a determination with respect to the application itself. So as part of its determination, the board needs to consider a certain number of things. So maybe I'll just read them and then we'll go through them. It says, and not all of them necessarily apply to every application, but this is a broad section. This is section 17234 of the Village Code. It's entitled Specifications to be Considered with respect
Can
to
you
a site
say
plan
that
application.
Section again.
17234. In considering and acting upon any site plan, the planning board shall consider the site layout and overall appearance of all buildings in the proposed development so that they will have harmonious relationship with the existing or permitted development of contiguous land and of adjacent neighborhoods, so that they will have no material adverse effect upon the desirability of such neighborhoods, and so that the purpose and intent of this chapter will be met, to the end that the value of buildings will be conserved and the most appropriate use of land will be encouraged. The following objectives in particular shall be accomplished: that all proposed traffic access and ways are adequate but not excessive in number. And I'm going to stop. That's really about traffic, which I don't necessarily believe really implicated here. Code goes on to talk about adequate off-street parking. Subsection C says that there is adequate space between structures on the lot and setbacks from private driveways. Section D says that all playground parking and service areas are reasonably screened at all seasons of the year from the view of adjacent residential lots and streets. So overall, the board needs to determine whether or not the application, and specifically whether the layout and overall appearance of the buildings and structures on the lot will have a material adverse effect upon the desirability of the neighborhood. So what I think we should poll the board on, or maybe this is the ultimate question for the board. The motion would be whether or not the applicant and the application has a material adverse effect upon the desirability of the neighborhood, given some of the criteria that I just read.
And then, can I just clarify that, like in section D of that code, service areas, it's playground parking service areas. This would be considered a service area, correct?
I don't know how else you could read it.
Yeah.
certainly this is an area that's open to the public at least. So I don't believe service area is necessarily defined in the code, but it's certainly not the playground. It's not a parking area. At least the part that we're concerned about is not a parking area. So I think the board can determine that this would be a service area.
So I guess I will go
And-
ahead and pull the board.
So the question then is whether the application has a material adverse effect upon, or excuse me, whether the approval of the application would have a material adverse effect upon the desirability of the neighborhood, given the factors that we just discussed.
So then I would like to go ahead and pull the board, so I'll just go down the line and go first, please.
Well, can I just add in, that's in light of all the application as it has been presented to us,
And taking into consideration all the comments the public's made tonight and the comments of the board members, correct?
So it does have an adverse effect. So are we voting yes or we're just commenting?
I think we can comment or vote. We can do,
Well,
Basically, we are discussing merit of the application, right?
right, so we can do it this way. You can ask for a motion to deny the application because it has a material, its approval would have a material adverse effect upon the desirability of the neighborhood.
I think that based on the discussion that we've had as a board and our suggestions that we've made to the applicant in consideration of the comments from the public, yes, then I would like to go ahead and make a motion to deny the application on the basis that it would have a material adverse effect on upon the desirability of the neighborhood. Do I have
Ask for a second.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? If no discussion, the board can vote.
I mean, what I would add is that, if we, looking at the code, the neighbors are gonna have to look at these structures, particularly across the street neighbors. There is no screening to the public of this. It is right on the street. It is right on the sidewalk. The houses across the street, there's no screening in place. There isn't as it exists now, either, but this is a much more prominent, this would be a much more prominent structure, so I guess that's all I would add. So we have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, aye?
All right, so that's a unanimous vote that there's a material adverse effect and the application is denied.
Ellos la denegaron diciendo que consideran que su proyecto va a tener un efecto negativo para el vecindario. Por el tamaño de la estructura misma, donde está localizado el vecindario, la gente que vive frente a usted va a tener que estar viendo eso constantemente y creen que todo eso va a crear un efecto negativo. Y por esa razón, todo la denegaron.
All right. Do you want to
close
vote on them?
the meeting.
No, we just have to approve the minutes. So at this time, we would move to old business, which is the approval of the minutes from March 28th, 2023. I would make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't believe I was here. It says,
It says you were here,
I
but
thought I was in
was
India.
Vish was not here. Yeah, so you need to correct that. You were here? No, you were in
No,
India.
I was in India.
I think he was in India. Or were you in India in February?
No, I left
Do you have it
No,
calendar.
no, I left on, no, I was here.
You were here,
Okay.
you were here in February. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
I
it's
approve.
December. Okay, so they're approved. Then our next meeting is set for May 16th at 7 PM. This time I'd make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.